What is going on, everybody? My name is Nick from our OK Music Review, and it is time for another K-pop album review. This one, as the title says, is to the newest album EP thing from Jessica titled Wonderland. Of course, that was just released a few days ago, and we've listened to the promotion song. I loved it. It was great. So now it's time to get into the album and just give you my general thoughts and opinions, and of course, how I would spend my money on this album. So, first off, let's just get it started with saying that, just generally speaking, right, without going into any sort of like real detail about it, right, this album is not much of a change from her previous album, if it even is any sort of change as far as the style and the sound. So, if you've listened to her solo debut album, then you're probably already super familiar with what this album is going to sound like, and that is not a bad thing. I know, and I'm sure that if you watch my videos for a relatively long time, that there have been times where I've gotten on groups and said like, hey, you've repeated this a little too many times, or just the repetition of the same sound and formula is boring, I don't like it, don't do that. I've said that, I know that I have, but to an extent, like the upside to this is that it is, one, her promotion song is sufficiently different enough from her previous one that is not something that is not really boring. Also, it hasn't gotten boring yet. I mean, like, my general rule of thumb is that you can release 3 of basically the same exact, or clones of the same exact song, before it starts to get really, repetitive and boring, and just, I don't want to hear it anymore. So this is take number 2, basically, on the same sound and style. So as far as I'm concerned, at the very least, she's got one more attempt at it before it gets, stale and boring, and she needs to kind of like try something different. On the other hand, you've got groups like VIX, who have kind of, to an extent, done the same kind of thing, the same concept, the same sound, repetitively for a very, frequent number of releases in a row, but they have definitely kept it fresh on the visual style, and of course the way that their, style and sound of music is just presented. So while the core of it is still very much similar, the genre hasn't changed at all. They changed it up, the way that the composition and all that stuff of the songs, enough for them to be distinctly different. Where even though they all sound very much at least related. That's the thing, right? Is instead of being like twins, like 2 songs where they're twins, they're just really, family. They're all, brothers and sisters. VIX songs are all brothers and sisters, whereas other groups who just clone success are, their songs are basically twins, and they're identical. The only difference is that they're wearing different clothes. So that's really the thing. This album is very much the same, but that's not a bad thing, because it's still, slightly different enough, but it's also really good. So I'm not bored of it, so that's not really a criticism, but that's just something that I think that you should know, going into this. So if you liked the previous album, then you really, I don't think, specifically need to listen to this album, before you spend your money on it, right? Just my personal opinion. And I guess if we're gonna be like, getting really and grasping at straws for something that is a little bit different from this, is that the difference is that maybe this song, or some of the songs on this album, have a bit more of a, cold kind of feel to them, just because of the fact that it's released in winter. So instead of being, like her summer or I guess it was a spring album, right, where those songs and that promotion song and music video were, warm and fun, these ones are a little cool, or a little cold, a little relaxed, and just like a little cold and cozy, right? Like it's cold outside, and so you're sitting in front of the fireplace, wrapped up in a blanket, and you're just chilling in your house, like that that's the way that some of these songs kind of feel. Whereas other ones are like, it's warm outside, we're going to the beach, we're gonna have fun, like that, right? That's if we're going to describe it in an analogy or some alliteration to, you know, actual physical conditions in the world, that's what I would say. But again, I think that's really just like a super, you know, a huge thing to like jump to, and not necessarily true, but I'm just making something up. But I mean, yeah, that's really it. That's basically all that it is, right? This album is, you know, essentially the same as the first. There is not much different. So there, I mean, if you like the first, you're gonna like this one as well. So my favorite song from this album is "Dancing on the Moon." It is fantastic. Definitely, without a doubt, my favorite song on the album, and I think that it's the strongest song on the album as well. You know, it's a little bit upbeat and it's a little relaxing. It's a really just kind of like nice blend between, you know, having some energy, but also being, you know, laid back and you know, just being a song where you can like kick back and just like jam to if you want, or you could just like, you know, kick back and fall asleep. Not like it's boring or anything like that, but it's just like that. It's not anything that's going to be, you know, working its way into your head, keeping you awake because of the crazy high energy levels. It's not like that, but it's still really, really nice. So my overall review for the song, my rating, which of course is how I would spend my money, is definitely yes, I would buy this album. And like I said, if you liked her debut solo album, then I would say if you didn't even listen to this and you paid money for it, then you wouldn't even really regret it, because it's basically the same in a sense. Different songs, of course, they sound different, but the same idea and the same core concept between the two is exactly the same. So, you know, I definitely wouldn't, you know, say that I would regret buying this before listening to it, and I don't think you would either, which isn't to say that you shouldn't listen to it before you buy it, because I definitely do recommend, you know, when it comes to music, listening to the music before you do spend your money on it. But, you know, if you just bought it blindly because you want to support Jessica, then I don't think that you're going to be disappointed with the purchase. I know that I personally would not. So that right there is my review. The question for you for this video is going to be basically, what is your favorite song? What's your favorite song on this album? And tell me why, along with your general thoughts and opinions on this song, on this album, and whether or not you share my opinion that this song or this album is the same as her first and as her previous one, and or not, or disagree. You can do whatever you want. Just tell me, leave a comment, whatever it is, down in that box below, so you can fill up that comment section. And when you're finished doing that, check out these two videos over here that you may be interested in watching. And then, if you like this video, you want to see more like it, click on my avatar down in the corner of the screen to subscribe to the channel. So that is going to be it for this video. As always, I want to thank you for watching. Until next time.